And
This
okay,
is for balloon.
I have these thumbnails. They're super tiny drawings that I've blown up, so I hope they read. And it's not like set in stone, the storyboard, but here's what I have. Comes across, but starts off at the zoo. You know, get a feel that where we are. Some monkeys fighting and stuff. And then we stop on. The camera stops on balloons. One of them is taken out. And the balloon vendor walks off, and we're introduced to our main character, who's the older brother, and he just bought a balloon for his little sister. And she's, you know, if you're a little girl and your big brother bought you something, you're just like, you're so excited. So she's super happy. She, you know, she grabs it, does a little twirl, a little happy dance. She's like walking, and then pulls it down, gives a little kiss, and she's like, ta-da, you know, like there's her little happy dance. And she's so excited that she lets go of her balloon, and it starts floating off. There it goes. She's super sad.
Oh.
He starts crying. That's not a mustache. The older brother runs past her, and he's like, "Yeah, like I'm gonna go chase after the balloon." Okay, now before I show the rest, here we can do it can be like a montage or whatever of him chasing it, however much we can afford. But anyways, here he keeps going. It ends up going into a tree, and he chases after it. There we are in the tree, and the balloon floats past. Comes up. Oh, there it is. Goes after it. Comes out of the branch, and he sees it out in the air at the end of this branch that he's on. There it is. And you're like, okay, awesome, there it is. He looks down, sees that he remembers that he's really high up, and that like he's on this small branch, so he's got to be careful. So he starts shuffling over. He's like, oh. He's like, whoa, you know, he almost falls. Starts shaking. He's like, oh my gosh, this is my last chance. And he brings his arm out to grab it. Crack. And he's like, oh no. And then the branch snaps, and he falls down, and he didn't get the balloon. Ah, sleeping rhinos. And then he's like, oh man, good thing I didn't wake any of them up. And he's like, starts like inching his way off, and then and then there was like, and then the rhinos like all get up and they're gonna get him, you know. So he starts running, they're like stampeding after him. He's like, he looks back like the stampede, and they're like going after him. So, and then he goes to the wall, and he's like at a dead end. He's like, oh no, and he's like zooms up to the bird. And he zooms back down. And he's like, oh my gosh, I can't get up this wall. Like, what do I do? So he looks back. The lights going after him. And then they like close in on him. And he's like, oh. So he just curls into a ball. And then, like, screen goes black. He gets like hooked by these rhinos. And then there's like these birds. And then he flies through the birds. And he's like flying up into the sky. He's like, ow. You know? And then he keeps going up, he's like rubbing his butt, he's like, man, that hurt. He's like, by this time he's really high up in the sky, and then he sees the balloon. So he grabs the balloon and starts falling down, and he's like, yeah, I just got attacked by a rhino, but I got a balloon, so it's cool. And he's like falling down, he's like, you know, back down to the zoo. And then we cut to his sister, who's shedding the last of her tears, and her brother literally rolls into the scene. And he's got, you know, a few broken bones, a bruised eye, some missing teeth, but he's got the balloon. So she's like, yeah! She's so excited. She grabs it. She's so happy that she starts hugging the balloon and pops. And she pops the balloon, and he's so exhausted he falls over. That's the end.